Thank you, Milton, and to the entire VSee team, which really runs an amazing program of helping us get up here on stage. Recently, I had the chance, and will be talked about in a company I'm going to share with you guys about in a little bit, to do a genomic test and evaluation for myself. And I came on this video call, and the gentleman that was talking to me, he's like, look, I only get sent special forces operators and elite athletes to be able to do these reviews, and I knew before seeing you that you were not a special forces operator. It goes, based on how your body produces and works with serotonin and a few other things, there's no way you could have handled the trauma. You would be in a psych ward or you would be dead, right? Then he kind of looked at me and he goes, the athlete side. He goes, I usually talk to athletes, and when I told him that I was not an athlete, he looked very, very relieved that he didn't spot it wrong, because he goes, you're not one of those either. And we'll come back to that in a minute. And he was right in both cases, but I am blessed to be working with a number of just extraordinary people and groups that work in elite communities around the world. The company I started a few years ago called SidePorch is the reason why I was put in contact with VSee and with Milton, due to what a really good common friend of ours saw as an affinity of mission. We came to be in order to help organizations and individuals who are pulling towards the forces of good, who want to drive global, positive, accountable impact into the core of what they do for a living. So we help folks with strategy, business design, operational planning. We do evaluation work, we do partnership strategy. But my partner and I and all the people we worked with come from areas where we were focused on trying to tackle the biggest problems facing the world or local communities, and go after the biggest opportunities that we're confronted with as well. And we recognized right off the bat that a consulting firm would not be sufficient to do that. I had the opportunity to join an investment firm, an RIA, with fiduciary responsibility to our clients. So we're helping to try and deploy capital into sectors that need it to start up companies that are going to form the bedrock of sustainable futures, so non-concessional investment. But even that's not enough. We're interested in trying to develop and support a constellation of resources that would be able to enable really the future of the world that we all want to be living in, which I think is represented by many people here in this room. One of the most exciting things I've ever had the chance to work with is a company that we're starting to build right now focused on the future of human potential and human performance. I'm on the team building the business strategy, the impact plan, and the partnership strategy. We have assembled a team of world-leading experts, folks who have worked in elite, high-performance situations, who have worked in special forces, who have built and managed global corporations. We're funded and sponsored by Logitech, which is just like a stone's throw away from here. This company trying to get back to its initial founding vision of extending human capabilities, not just manufacturing the mice that we use with our computers. So we have a chance to pull this thing together. We've been working for about 9 months. We are one legal review away from actually having a name to be able to launch publicly. So because it's new, you're going to see a lot of pictures instead of words from here on out. But the kind of things we're hoping to do, and talking with the approach first. As we heard earlier from a couple of the folks up on stage, this is a holistic affair. The approach we take is trying to look at a multidimensional approach to what performance means in individual settings. You see some stuff up here you would expect, physical, nutrition, medical, but also in here is creativity, spirituality, not just as concepts, but as actionable, measurable, trainable skills that are essential for people and teams that are performing at their best. Now, the kind of things we're going to do, we're going to help groups and individuals do things that were thought to be near impossible, that push the boundaries of what's possible for the human. One of our founding team members was the head and, in fact, the founder of Red Bull's high-performance team that led the 7-year project that ended in Felix stepping off the highest free dive in human history at 174,000 feet. That prior slide, they went through and created a performance model required to get him ready to step off it. But what's really important here is it wasn't just he that carried this off. There was a technological component of both bringing on stuff that was available and designing new stuff, some of which is still classified. It is a team setting. So how do you get the entire team to function? The content production and distribution was extraordinary in this event, which we could talk about later if we want. Companies were founded and continue to be successful today because of this endeavor. So the work we're doing is is performance delivery. We're going to help individuals and teams. But we're also hoping to spawn and test and enable new companies, to test technology, to offer a platform for new tech and new opportunities to be tested. We're hoping to create a facility where we will be able to bring this stuff together. So imagine the gym of the future sitting next to the creative studios of the future, next to the office of the future, with an underlying data and AI analytic platform that's necessary to be able to pull in this large and growing domain of knowledge required to be able to deploy in these settings. When you think back to those cogs, those aren't just things that are static in the world, nutrition. They're ever-expanding networks. And in order to do a good job, one needs to be able to move through those networks, figure out what's applicable, what is not true or not good, which is quite a bit that's out there right there in nutrition. In addition to what we're doing, and this is the theme that's with us all the time, we're not going to be good enough or big enough to change the big problems that we really want to influence. And it's going to require putting together a collective and a network of different groups and capabilities that we're able to support. Some will be within this entity, but others, like Arena Labs, is going to be an affiliated group. Arena Labs, if you're not familiar with them, they are a company that works right now with high-performing medical teams, the cardio surgery teams at the Cleveland Clinic, for instance, where they're trying to bring practices and vision and ethos and different approaches from a multi-dimensional network into the medical operating room in order so that the teams can perform better. In this developing technology universe we live in this digital revolution that's coming in, if teams are not prepared to operate at their best, their patients' lives are going to be at risk. So Brian Ferguson, the founder of Arena, and his team go and they work closely to bring these practices in. They study how doctors talk to nurses, talk to the families throughout the entire process. Then, as you can imagine, working in the systems you do, as these teams improve, the teams around them get interested and get affected. And then it pushes out. So now they're actually working with medical systems as well as the actual operating teams. I highly encourage you to check out Arena. They're really, really good, and Brian Ferguson is spectacular. So the underlying ethos for us, Human 2.0, or us with this company that we get to be part of. Human 2.0, helping you as an individual do something that you didn't think was possible. Humans 2.0, taking those insights and extending it into a complex team environment so that those teams can be successful and perform better. But what's really important, and the reason why SidePorch and why I am here, is the ultimate reason we came together is Humanity 2.0. Most of the insights that I've just been talking about are typically kept to pretty elite communities. Special forces, professional athletic teams, many of the teams that people in this room are blessed to be working in. We want to find ways that we can push this learning out to everybody on the planet so that kids, social entrepreneurs, educators can have access to some of the same information and abilities that are typically reserved to these elite communities. Now, it's early for us. We're about to launch, and there's going to be a lot to see in this space in the coming months. I encourage you to stay in touch as this comes. Hopefully soon we'll actually have something to point to. But until then, feel free to reach out to me, talk to me afterwards, keep an eye on the stuff we'll be pushing out in the coming months, and hopefully we've got a great story to share with you as time goes by. Thank you very much for your time, and look forward to any questions you have.
Thank you so much. Any questions on extreme people?
So Sean, you brought up, or Dr. Knierim, I'm sorry, you brought up some really idealistic, it all sounds great, but what I heard in between the lines is it's for people who want to be healthy but are wealthy, because the payers are not insurance, right? Is your vision, it's still the consumer is paying for this out of pocket. Did I understand that correctly?
Well, initially, we are going to be working with a few groups and partners that allow us to really push the bounds of what's possible. So some of our clients might be elite e-gaming teams to try and figure out from a cognitive perspective, how do you drive impact from folks that are working in gaming, which also has very real counterparts in, say, the cyber world. So figuring out how to push this forward and then taking those insights and being able to push it out.
So you're teaching me, I have no idea what an e-gaming team is. So the team is going to pay for your services, and Arena Lab is looking at, I mean, they have resources to pay for it, right? Because you're not looking at payers. You're not looking for insurance. And it's not a subscription where, like concierge medicine, I pay whatever, $100 a month or whatever.
At this point, it is not. This is not something aimed at insurance companies or medical companies. Arena Labs, a separate company, is being paid for by the Cleveland Clinic to come in and work with their teams. MedStar is paying them to come in and work on performance with their teams. The group that we're building right now has a chance to support Logitech, which has the #1 manufacturing company for e-gaming, so video game technology is based there. They want to figure out what makes a great gamer, so on the performance side, and then the insights there are going to be widely applicable to any one of us that uses a computer for work.
So it's like somebody who designed Minecraft. They're looking at what kids like and then designing that great game so they get addicted.
Well, likely where we're going to start is on the elite athletes, the ones that are getting scholarships to UC Irvine. We saw one of their professors today. The ones that are winning tournaments that have 300 million people watching them play. What makes them great? How do you improve that performance in the same way we know how to improve other athletics, how cyber warriors, how different people in the military are being trained, and trying to improve upon that.
So Sean, do you have any, I know this is preliminary, do you have any insights on what makes these people great? You know, elite athletes, top gamers?
So there's one thing that we believe very strongly to be true in the real highest performing teams that are able to perform over a long time, and that's the character and the ethos of the group that is driving it. If you look at a group in professional sports, look at the San Antonio Spurs. They have a bedrock ethos and principle and mission that they base all of their work upon. When you look at elite groups in the military, when you look at elite groups in businesses, we'd argue that the ones that we think are performing the best and the ones that we want to attach ourselves to are ones that are starting first and foremost from a really pure and important and a practical ethos that drives their work.
How about on the individual, like, you know, they're like a star athlete individual, what makes them peak performance?
I'd start with the same point. The best performers, when things get really, really hard, have somewhere deep where they can go. Often, it has something to do with what they stand for and who they are. And that can take a variety of approaches. So we've done, for a performance under pressure training, free dive, breath hold training is something that you can do to help with that. The folks that do the best at this without any preparation are ones that can take themselves somewhere when their bodies start telling them they're about to die. And whether that's solving a quadratic equation, which is what the head of an AI division for a big tech firm down the road did, or praying about their kids. There's something there that they go to that helps them overcome things when it gets hard.
Sean, thank you so much. Great, very inspirational.